a make or break issue that every Christian faces if they're going to understand how to interact with the church. And that's an issue between ethics and preference. Now, ethics are our beliefs, the core things that we believe, and the way that those beliefs are then put into action, or in other words, the way that we act because of the things that we believe. On the other hand, preferences are the things that we like. They're the things that they're not life or death, but they're the things that we care about. They matter to us personally. It might not matter to someone else. So, for instance, when we talk about ethics, the things that are of core importance to our faith, we're talking about things like the Bible and why it matters, prayer, worship, loving people, all of those kind of things. Those things are important. Those things are essential if we're going to call ourselves Christians, followers of Jesus. On the other hand, when we talk about preferences, we're talking actually about how we want those things kind of to operate for us. So, for instance, a preference might be what version of the Bible you like best, or what kind of music you like, or what you think youth ministry ought to look like at your church, or what you think the children's ministry should look like there. All of those things are preference things. Now here's why this matters to those of us who call ourselves followers of Jesus. Because if we're not careful, we'll confuse the two. We'll shift the priorities around in some way so that the preferences actually become more important than the ethics. And I think one of the things that I see within the church all over the world that really causes us great harm is when we're willing to compromise our ethics, and to compromise the things that we really believe, that we say matter to us, but we're not willing to budge at all on the preferences, the things that aren't as important or central. So one of the places that we see this play out all the time in churches is when it comes to worship. Now, I think almost everyone that is a Christian, if they were pressed for an answer, would say that worship is one of these, it's an ethic, it's an essential thing. Like we are called together to worship. If you read the Bible, it's clear that we're supposed to worship through song, that we're supposed to come together. It's a community experience where we give glory and honor to God. And almost everyone would say that that's a key thing. However, we can't agree on how to do it. We can't agree on how to figure it out. So as much as we say that it's an ethic, a lot of times we treat it like a preference, and we get hung up on how loud the music is, or what songs we're singing, or even when we sing songs in the service, and all of these kind of things. And the great sadness in all of this is that it takes us away from the things that really matter. Now, you might hear me say that and go, well, what's the deal then? Am I a robot? I mean, I can't have any preference to what I'm going to do? Well, of course not. You can't control the fact that you have preferences. We all like the things we like. I've been around churches my whole life, all different denominations and kinds of churches, and I have very clear preferences, probably just the same as you. I can walk into a church service, sit down and go, well, I like this, I don't like this. So it's absolutely okay to have preference, but here's the thing that we have to do. We can't make those preferences our highest priority. We have to focus on something else. So I think a good question to ask yourself is when I'm at my church, when I'm part of the community here at Westwinds, and there's something that I just don't like and I identify it as a preference, well, what do I do? Where can I focus so that I don't just focus on the fact that maybe the music's too loud, or maybe I don't connect all the way with the person that's speaking in that moment? And I think the thing that you can focus on in these moments is transformation. And here's what's important to understand. No matter what kind of church you go to, no matter what denomination it is, no matter if it's liturgical or if it's contemporary, it doesn't matter what it is, transformation is always the goal. Jesus came to seek and to save the lost. We are in the business of seeing people become followers of Jesus. And so when you're bothered by something that's preferential, focus on the thing that matters the most, the thing that was the closest to the heart of God. And that's the idea of transformation. Focus on being a part of a church that is helping other people know Jesus better. First century Palestine, there's several words that help us understand what the church is, but one of those words is ecclesia. And in first century Palestine, this word ecclesia, which means called out, was used to almost describe a town hall kind of meeting. When there was an important issue that the community needed to handle, they would call their leaders together, call them out, and they would meet to talk about what they should do. This word was kind of hijacked by these first century Christians to help understand what the church was supposed to be. It's a group of called out people who are trying to make sure that they're working together with God, with the Spirit of God, to shadow Him, to build the church, and to heal the world.